Let's talk about communication a little bit. Questions are a form of communication. The communication model can help us with our questions. When two people communicate, there are many chances for miscommunication. How does miscommunication happen? From the person speaking to the person listening. Your message goes through several layers. For example, you go through an encoding process. You take your idea in your brain and you encode it into language symbols. Symbols may be written or spoken. In this case, we're going to speak. There are many influences on that message encoding. Influences include culture, knowledge, experience, feelings, attitudes, and emotion. You are feeling happy, you may say a sentence in one way. If you're feeling sad, you may say it in another way. This encoding becomes words that you hear or words that you read. The encoding could also be a person's body. Whatever form the encoding takes, the message gets sent out. A message may be, "My son likes cars." This is not so hard to understand. It looks pretty basic, very simple. My son and cars. Easy. The message comes over to the listener. The listener then decodes the message. The decoding also has influences like culture, experience, and emotions. This simple message should not be a problem. My son likes cars. In this case, however, we can see that even a simple message can be decoded differently than how it was encoded. The message presents quite different images to the sender and the receiver. When we first heard this person say, "My son likes cars," what he was trying to say was, "My son likes cars," meaning my grown-up adult son, who is 30 years old, repairs cars. The person who heard this message was thinking about a child who plays with toy cars. Completely different meanings for the same message. This miscommunication happens in the encoding and decoding stages. It's very easy to happen. It's very difficult to prevent. How can we overcome this kind of miscommunication? If we can't even get basic ideas right, how can we communicate complex negotiations? We can overcome many communication problems by asking questions. The more questions we ask, the more we can clarify information. For example, we could ask, how old is your son? What work does your son do? We get the picture more clearly with some questions. Let's get an idea of how these questions work. There are basically two kinds of questions, positive and negative. Positive questions help make negotiation clear. Positive questions overcome problems. When these questions are answered, they build a good relationship by increasing trust between negotiators, especially in integrative bargaining. These questions are real questions. They're very helpful in understanding more. Even when you don't think you have a question, you think this is very clear to me. You ask a question to try to get more information. In our textbook, we have quite a number of example questions. I'm going to go over some of these very quickly. Positive questions are related to who, what, where, why, and when. What's happened? When did it happen? Who was involved? Why did it happen? Who are you selling to? What's the product you're trying to sell? Where are you selling it at? When will you begin? These all help make the situation clear. Open-ended questions are like, how do you like our new office? What are your thoughts on this offer? Can you tell us what you're looking for? These are very open questions. What do you feel? What are you looking for? What kind of products are you interested in? What markets are you targeting in the future? These are very big questions and leave it to the respondent to answer any way they want. Questions that already have the answer in them are called leading questions. Like these. Don't you think this offer includes everything you asked for? Wouldn't you agree this price reduction is very generous? When thinking of questions, first ask, are you looking for integrative or distributive bargaining? Use questions that support your negotiation approach. We have planning questions, complementing questions, some focus questions, and there are many different other kinds of questions you can check out in your book. please use them in your RPG. This is going to be very useful for you to execute your role-playing game. Let's now talk about negative questions. Negative differs from positive questions. Negative questions do not really have an answer. Sometimes they can be very aggressive. These questions give the other side a feeling of pressure. We're sending the other side a negative message. Let's look at a few examples. Here's a perspective question. Can you see that this price puts us in a very bad market situation? Can't you see your price is too high? Can't you see you're making us lose money? These are negative questions. Not really questions at all. There are many other examples in your book you can follow up on. What happens when you're in a negotiation and these questions come up? How can you deal with such questions from the other side? If someone says, take it or leave it, do you want to take my offer because this is our final offer? Take it or leave it. You can respond with a question. If I find a better alternative, would you still want me to take it or leave it? It means, if I found somebody else, is that really what you want? If I found another company, is that really what you want? Or you could say, does the decision have to be made now? Can we take some more time? This is trying to postpone the time to find more alternatives. These questions are not really questions, but a way to extend the negotiation. These are good examples of how you can use questions to respond to a very tough negotiation situation. For my students, the biggest problem they have in the RPG is when they begin. They begin to ask about prices, quality, and shipping. They forget to use their questions to help with integrative or distributive bargaining. They often do not have a clear plan if they are following an integrative or distributive negotiation. What's your price? What's your delivery? What's your quality? Such simple communication does not help the other side understand what is your goal. With your group, figure out what your strategy will be. Ask the two questions of how important is the deal now and how important is the relationship. Each group you make a deal with may require a different strategy. However, your group needs to be clear about what is your plan. Questions can be very helpful in communicating with the other side and obtaining your goals. Good luck with your RPG.